Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I'm going to be checking out an album by an act named Dagon Von Lovecraft titled Feardemic. And if we switch over to here, we've got the album on Spotify. We're going to be listening through each of these 8 tracks today from start to finish. I'm going to hear what we think. Let's go, starting with Feardemic. What have we got ahead? What have we got in store for us? Nice bass resonance there, dude. Very unsettling lead lines.
They're fighting a war here and they're losing. Trying to keep these people from deteriorating further. The sheer numbers of people succumbing to the coronavirus is overwhelming every hospital. They're trying to stop them from dying.
It's the odor from the bottom that we can't handle anymore.
This is an absolute constant. This killer.
It's kind of unsettling, isn't it? Hearing these different voicings about the coronavirus and then talking about the effect it's having on people. And with these like really dissonant, dreadful lead lines on the side.
Nobody expected this.
This sense of chaos and turmoil.
Collected more than 300 bodies from homes
And we just left with that haunting vibration there. With this bombastic strings and brass parts. As if it's the Dance of the Dead or something.
Nothing to give, even less to take. The life that we live, the suffering we make. No tears to cry for those who have died. Even less to care for those who survive. Kill.
Dude, just having this guitar, bass, and drums come in like that hits you like a train, doesn't it? The vocals are nice and present in the mix as well. Those kicks slap, dude. Really nice, simple vocal lines as well. You know, it's easy to take in. It's heavy, but it's See, I think this is talking about the state of the world at this point in time. I mean, the stuff that's going on with the coronavirus pandemic and world wars and everything like that. Just talking about the corruption and the destruction that's going forth. It's topical. Interesting tremolo picking here on the guitars here, mingling with the bar mutes.
Population control, it is a must. Kill or be killed, we're already fucked. Say your prayers, go out and vote. Wear your mask, you can't be exposed. Go on now, suffer for your rights. Think that we have all missed the fucking point.
Have we missed the point? I think that's a good question, you know? Wondering where we all sit within the spectrum. Really sort of simple, kind of almost Phrygian-esque kind of rhythm mark with these downtuned power chords. Variation on the original chorus motif. And those tremolos continue in the mid-range. Interesting intervals there on these lead guitars on the extreme left and right. There's like a fourth or something like that. Oh, solo time. Really slick tapping solo there with the bends on the back end.
Let it spread. Kill us all. Left for dead. Time to fall.
It's nice just to have the kicks fall out for a second, just have the hi-hats being the focal point along with the melodic guitar bits. And have the brass briefly and subtly in there.
So open your eyes.
bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum. It's nice to have a little bit more of a slight major shift here. It's almost like opening your eyes is the positive thing, and that's something we should be working towards.
I'm being erased, mark my words. We're streaming for change. Revolution is in the air. It's time to make the mess. Tread forth if you dare.
Tread forth if you dare. So we're talking about a revolution, and we're going to try and change what the status quo and what's occurring.
Now, before I wake up,
Have we got some synth parts in there as well? There's a little bit of extra tension in there. Make it sound a little bit more ominous and yeah, those squealy pinches are kind of sharp sounding, aren't they? Really tighter holding the chugs on the guitar though. Kind of sounds like someone crying out a little bit, you know. It's not a pleasant song in the sense that it's not much fun to really consider what's being spoken about here, but it's obviously something that Dagon Von Lovecraft is passionate about. And good on them for putting it forward in their music. We've got Homewrecker though, track number 2.
no one has ever fucked me up this much before.
No one has ever fucked me up this much before. Straight to the point, cut to the chase. Got more of that kind of punk oral aesthetic though, doesn't it?
Fuck this, I'd rather go to war. You left me stranded here, waving in your rearview mirror. Now I feel
Oh.
betrayed. You can't
These are really pleasant vocal melodies, actually, or vocal harmonies. I wasn't expecting stuff like this after the first track, Feardemic. Obviously, Dagon Von Lovecraft has a range to the way that they approach and perform their music.
taking everything.
I kind of like that.
Now I feel the same. Now I feel betrayed. You cannot walk away.
And those sub-layers of those lead guitars in the background are charming as well. Nice little bit of coloration that syncs well with the backing vocals.
Fuck you, you dirty fucking slut. Another chance I'll fuck you with the gun. You come back every once in a while. Left me alone to raise our child. Now
And again, we're kind of cutting to the chase here, getting to the crux of why we're so angry. I like that we've taken it to the second verse to kind of explain why there is that animosity towards this person. The rhythm guitar parts along with the guitar and bass, rhythm guitar along with the drums and bass are fairly neutral and don't specify what this track is about. So it's great that we can hear the vocals there, you know? Like there's passion and frustration there, but I kind of like this song. I really do actually like it. The solo section's fun. The solo section's fun. I like that solo. I like that solo a lot. I think that was well voiced. I don't really think you could have approached it that much more differently. Having a simplistic kind of approach to the lead melodies there, having a little bit of hammer-ons and pull-offs according and having the kind of twisty, bluesy pentatonic, blah 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 blah, you know, those unison bends there. It's just fantastic. Great choice. It's really short as well. Like 2 minutes 29 is not a lot of not a lot to get your story across, you know. And it's just done. It was short and sweet, to be quite honest with you. Feardemic had a lot to appreciate and like about the track, you know, from parts of the instrumental performances to some parts about you know, sort of the revolution of trying to change things over, which are, you know, to a certain extent inspirational. It's you know, Homewrecker is a lot more straightforward than that, though. You literally have a man who is just so upset with their ex-partner who left him to take care of their child. That was a bottle that's been opened, and now we have Homewrecker. Track number 3 though is Speed and Weed. Speed and Weed, what have we got next? I think we got a catchy lead motif on the guitar. But that bass settling in there and we're supporting it quite nicely. Going back to that motif though, we're splitting that verse in two, I suppose. Nice for it to go up a step though, just to kind of allow a bit of development with that passage. I love how gorgeous the harmonies are in that first half of this hook here. The da 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 da. There's a friendly kind of misty nature to it. And then we have the and then we have this. We're splitting it up entirely. We're switching it up. I like the contrast there between the kind of sweetness in the first part and the heaviness of the second. Slight changes and adjustments to the percussive passages here, you know. We aren't really trying to do too much with the drums to take away from the vocals and guitar parts, but I like that fill there. I like the approach we had there with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4 and so it would have been 30 seconds there for those tom fills. The snare and toms. There's a lot of compression on those toms. That'll be fair. Like, just they sounded kind of like the same volume in that fill bit, so I assume that we just got them kind of slammed, you know, by those compressors. Nice work with that tremolo whammy bar as well. Kind of an ominous sounding lead line though, isn't it? You know, there's this hint of darkness and danger. Going back to this kind of majorish. I suppose it isn't absolutely major though, is it? You know, I mean, not that I'm the arbiter of what's major and what's minor, but it's definitely not a positive happy walk in the park, is it? It's nice to have these dissonance and guitar parts coming out at the end. You know, like kind of to attribute and reinforce the sense of tension, uneasiness and uncertainty within the vocal parts. Okay, I mean, I know we had like the outro chorus twice, but we switched it up at the end with that additional lead line, and I think as well, just this track, I think is about someone who is fully aware that they are vulnerable to the temptations of like drugs and all that kind of stuff, and to sort of talk about how they wish that it wasn't that way, and they wish that things could be better. Not for nothing though, track number 4, we're making our way through this album, and I'm having a good time with it. Okay, you were going for that kind of indie, kind of rock metalish kind of vibe there. Feardemic was quite a different track from this one, wasn't it?
Tried to hide, but there is no escape.
Tried to hide, but there is no escape. Interesting. The power chords we have here alongside the bass and the 8th note groove on the drums are what I've had for a lot of the other tracks as well today. But it's still sounding reasonably fresh.
I felt it trapped inside me, but now it's getting stronger. Laying right beside me, can't go on any longer. Where we're going, we don't need no roads. Not for nothing,
Do we have the drums side chaining the rhythm guitars?
we're always something more. Where we're going, we don't need no roads. Not for nothing, we're always something more. Yeah.
When we're fully familiar that we need to repeat these melodic motifs and sequences in order for it to remain catchy and get stuck in the listener's head. We've got simple, easy to kind of follow riffs that kind of remind me a lot of the early 90s kind of grunge stuff, from like Soundgarden and Nirvana and such. Had some punk stuff, some metal stuff, some grunge stuff.
We lost so many friends, but all good things will soon come to an end. This is the strangest life I know. Left for dead on this empty road. I felt it trapped inside me, but now it's getting stronger. Laying right beside me, can't go on any longer. Where
It's nice to have that gentle build there. You know, we're not trying to reach for like a super intense experience dynamically, but we gradually inch those levels up for a smoother experience while still having the distortion and add a bit of kind of clashiness to it.
going, we don't need no roads. Not for nothing, we're always something more.
It's nice to have the chugs, the alternate chugs there. You know, it's nice and quick there. It's a great change of pace from like the 8s that we have in the first half of each of the hooks.
Going, we don't need no roads.
Oh no, we didn't have it that time. Never mind.
Not for nothing, we're always something more. Yeah. Here we go again with the backs against the wall.
Sorry, key change? Are we doing a key change? If so, well done. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think we've had a definitive key change up until this point, but it's very welcome.
This time for sure we must learn to crawl. There is no path that we can take. Just dig your hole and lie in your grave. Where we're going.
And lovely vocal fry there coming in from Dagon Von Lovecraft. We have someone who not only can sing cleanly, but also can express himself in a more kind of gritty, kind of sharper way. And I like the fact that there's that intensity to it.
We don't need no roads.
Oh, the unison bends as well. They're welcome.
Nothing, we're always something more. Where we're going, we don't need no roads. Not for nothing, we're always something more. Where we're going, we don't need no roads. Not for nothing, we're
This is what I mean. I don't necessarily mind this here. I mean, you have the sort of the chorus that you've had here with no lead guitars over it on the first time, and then if you want to just have an additional voice here without when you vote like a call and response kind of thing, that's cool to do too. I like that we're not just creating an object and we're just sticking with that original form the entire time. When they're manipulating it to make more room in the mix and for performances.
something more. Yeah.
Great, man. No complaints about no for nothing. I think it's about people realizing that their lives don't have to be meaningless, and that it's important to sort of like stand up for yourself and get the most you can out of it and don't let anybody tear you down. I think that's what Not For Nothing is about. But here today, it's got a few thousand plays, as well as See You on the Other Side, which is cool. It's cool. So these are two of the more popular tracks. It's a lot more gentle with these octave chords. Drums are a little bit slower, allows them to slap and pop a little bit, you know what I mean?
Cold and never warm, seems so hard to feel. The darkness inside is
Okay, interesting. I wonder what kind of effects channel got on the vocals, because the way we're going between these notes is very, very, very smooth. I mean, like, I dig the way we're doing these, but they sound similar to what we had in Homewrecker, or like a little bit more refined somehow. And those kind of jangly, kind of sort of bright kind of guitars on the side are being left there by Dagon Von Lovecraft. We're not trying to usurp attention from the vocals too much. We're not being overprotective either, you know, allowing the other instruments to voice themselves. I mean, I'm nodding my head to it. The chord note groove is fantastic, but the hi-hats. On its eighth note, it's just the secondary hit's a little more subtle because it's between the kicks. So is this track more about being in the moment, you know? It's not just, you know, not for nothing, which is not allowing our lives to be meaningless, but also it's actively finding purpose in it. It's a little bit more sad than the previous ones. The guitar sounds like it's mourning the loss of a close friend. This rigs really well. It's one of the best mixes in the album. Here today, gone tomorrow. But then, what was that next part? Oh, I don't know. Time to wake, force a smile. Oh, so we're forcing our happiness simply just to be able to get through the day. Is that right? I mean, it's easy to sing along to this melody here. And the lead guitars on the side are using some brightness in the mid to highs there with those upper fretboard progressions or chord shapes that they're strumming. Oh no, they're lead lines that are double tracked, aren't they? That was here today. That was kind of sweet. I enjoyed it. I'm loving the emotional and tonal range that we have within this album. Dagon Von Lovecraft is not sleeping with this record. It is a genuine attempt at expressing themselves in all the ways possible related to a Feardemic, and it's almost like we're seeing different sides of their personality within it. See you on the other side, track number 6. Really clear, sensical, kind of, and sensible lead voicing here, amongst the guitars on the side and the chord note kick groove.
Just passing through a crowd out for attention. A life in bloom, doom and gloom, crippled by depression.
Oh.
It's too late to say goodbye.
This is a lot more peaceful. Like, Feardemic was such an intense experience, like the track, not the album, that it almost seems like we've come down the mountain and we've used up all our energy and we're just sitting on a box of fluffies. Like, I know See You on the Other Side isn't meant to be a happy, super duper positive track. I think it's about someone looking at You know, whether they'll make it to the other side and wanting the other person to meet them or something like that, or they're considering the options on how to get there. Could have handed to Dagon Von Lovecraft though, like they know how to voice a lead line. It's a great substitute for the voice here. It's a nice new texture. You know, the delay effects chains on it are spectacular as well, lots of presence in the mix. Okay, a little bit of extra articulation going on here. We're aware that we can shred, that's good. I'm gonna give that one a like as well, and probably this one, to be honest. I'm enjoying my time with this album so far. Oh, this is another person that passed away. Just had a call in the middle of a review that was super professional, right? It's so gentle in comparison to Dagon Von Lovecraft's earlier stuff. We really are going through some ground, I think, with themselves as an individual and their journeys and their stories. I do think this is actually about someone who's passed on and the fact they can't be with them anymore.
Seems we all were just too high. No one knows, how could they know? We feel it all the same. As we grow old, the pain just grows, tossing, turning in an early grave. Go!
Great solo section. There's a little bit of tension there that I wasn't expecting there. I was expecting the lead solo to be a little more prominent here, considering how soft and sweet the rhythm guitars are here, but I think he was also probably just trying to balance out the intensity of the solo with those fluffy colorations. I mean, I know the guitar might not sound fluffy, but when we compare it to Feardemic, it's a lot less sharp and visceral, you know? That was a tasteful little lead line there, a bit of a shift from the scales that we've had previously shown in the song, from both the leads and the vocals. I mean, that's a really huge contrast there. We're talking about it's too late, kind of, we sound like somber and we're a little bit retrospective with these clean acoustic guitar parts and the bass and drums with a repeating sort of motif. And then we have the vocal phrase if we're having some inner turmoil and we're trying to argue with ourselves and really figure out the what the hell just happened. The goal of life is to die. I mean, is this someone going through their demons and struggling when they're at their low points? See you on the other side. Dagon Von Lovecraft. I enjoyed that song a lot. The last part of it confused me a little bit, just with the way we arranged the harder vocal parts with the softer ones and everything, but that's okay. That's alright. Still a good song. Junkie Blues. I mean, it is very bluesy, to be fair, there. That shuffle there. Triplet shuffle. That neck pickup, lead tone.
And just like that, a bitch is gone. She packed her bag so she could pack her pipe. She brought her home.
I like the loudspeaker-ish kind of filter we got going on here. I think that's fun. That's a fun change. Alright.
She promised her sold me out to save herself. There ain't no future for many justify the reason.
Down, bum, 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 bum. This is a little bit less bluesy, but I kind of like it. I kind of appreciate the playfulness and friendliness of the specific melody that we're going with here, and it's a nice change from the 12 bars that we had previously.
I live my life. I'm always drunk, yeah, I'm always high. I tell you, baby, it's alright.
Again, sometimes the lead sounds a little bit quiet, and sometimes the lead sound a little bit louder. I'm not really sure how I feel about this one with the placement of it.
It's hard to wake up.
But it does substitute well with the vocals though, level-wise.
A couple tokes will do. No help to be completely fucked. You say I look high. Well, you goddamn right. Yeah, baby, I'm high. Long damn night. There ain't no future for many of us here. Not a pretty picture we paint. No, not in years.
It's kind of dreadful, isn't it? Hearing them talk about this. Kind of difficult to imagine what it's like to be like that.
There ain't no sign of hope. Something we won't find till the end of the road. There ain't no way to justify the reason that I live my life. I'm always drunk, yeah, I'm always high. I tell you, baby, it's alright.
Tell you, baby, I'm always drunk, I'm always high. It's visceral stuff. It's like we're a lot softer when it's our own issues we're having. As opposed to Feardemic, where the world around us is a difficult place, so things are scary and angry.
No future for many of us here. Not a pretty picture we paint. No, not in years.
Great, cool response with those lead lines and the vocalist.
Till the end of the road. There ain't no way to justify.
And I like the fact we do the chorus 3 times and then we switch into this post-chorus here with "Ain't no way to justify." You know, it's it bounces. It bounces a little bit less terse than what we had previously.
Reason that I live my life. I'm always drunk, yeah, I'm always high. I tell you, baby, it's alright. There ain't no way to justify the reason that I live my life. I'm always drunk, yeah, I'm always high. I tell you, baby, it's alright.
Guys, a nice vocal fry to his voice here. We've had similar rhythm parts with the guitars, the bass, and the drums, you know. We're not switching up those chord progressions too much or the strumming rhythms or anything like that. Got a bit of difference in the fills, but not a whole lot. And it's just the way he's approaching voicing himself that's switching it up and getting a little bit more aggressive here. And the buzz rolls were a fantastic way to end it. I wasn't expecting buzz rolls at the end, I'll be honest, but they are a nice twist. They're a nice twist. Well done for Junkie Blues. I'm also going to give that a like. I don't usually like tracks that I listen to like in Spotify with the hearts, but end of an era. Oh, well, you can go check out Spotify if you want to. I didn't mean to click that. This really has gotten a lot more peaceful and pleasant to listen to as we've gone along, hasn't it? This has been a real roller coaster.
No, I can't be who you want me to be.
Oh, this is the end of a relationship, is it? Here we are all alone. He really is a master of those really gorgeous sounding vocal harmonies. There's a brightness and a sheen to it that, while it's a sad passage, still sounds kind of glorious at the same time, you know?
Nothing to hold on. Inside we're all dead and gone. I miss you, but I got
Are we, what kind of cymbal are we hitting there on the drums? Because it's sounding very quiet.
carry on. No, I can't stay. Can't even look you in the face. The rain, no turning back. We have reached the end of our path. No more lies. No more waiting on you to decide. I'm out that door. And I ain't never coming back no more.
I think this is moving on from Homewrecker. I think this is a thematic chronological journey we've gone on through this album.
Here we are all alone. Nothing to hold.
There's a mid-resonance there in the overall mix bus, which is fine. There's a bliss clarity in some of the cymbal sections, but that's fine. The vocals are EQ'd wonderfully. They've nailed the EQing of the vocals.
Miss you, but I got to carry on. No longer will I run to you, only will I run from you. Nothing that you ever do will ever make me love you. You're the mother of my daughter, so I guess this is forever. For worse or for better, we'll never ever be together.
Okay, I mean, like, I think we clearly understand that this is the end of any interaction they have. He's put his foot down. No more of that. We've got the guitar kind of announcing itself now. There's a slick bit of vibrato in here with some slides. And we're back.
Nothing to hold on. Inside we're all
Yeah, I was expecting the guitars to feel a little bit brighter. If we had like some of the guitars like I think and see on the other side or something like that was a bit more sort of mid-high range, it would have been. But I suppose maybe it was too bright with that. I don't know. Like, clearly the people who did mix and master this album knew what they were doing with it. Because like the EQing on some of the parts is absolutely perfect.
to carry on.
And we thought the guitars would be a bit too bright for the vocals if they kept them like shiny like that. Because I think it's the overdriven parts that are a little bit sort of MIDI sounding.
Nothing to hold on.
We could have probably put like a little lead line over this part just to kind of like have it lead us out, I suppose. Are you flying away from the situation because you'll never want to go back there again?
I miss you, but I got to carry on.
And that was Dagon Von Lovecraft's Feardemic. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this album. From Dagon Von Lovecraft Feardemic. I think this album was about someone who was in a really dark place at the beginning. They were just angry and frustrated with the world, and the world was like a horrible place. And in parts, like a lot of the world is not particularly fantastic at the moment, you know. There's a lot of conflict and a lot of hostility there. But I think it came down to looking like with Homewrecker, you know, the fact that the mother of his child is not really there, and it's caused massive issues. And Speed and Weed is maybe them trying to like find a way to deal with the pain that comes from that distress and dysfunction, you know, not for nothing. Here Today, See on the Other Side are basically looking at what they're doing in the world, trying to understand how it's related to everyone else. And I think See on the Other Side was talking about maybe the people that have left them, the stuff that has come with the drugs, is per sort of Junkie Blues, where we're sort of identifying that we still have our issues with being high and you know, overdosing and stuff like that. But I think end of an era. I think the reason that the music gets softer as we go along is because we've come to terms with who we are as an individual and what we need to do in order to improve things and like get our lives into a better position. So I think that's why the overall tone of the album gets far less aggressive as we go along, which I kind of like. It's not something I get a lot, to be honest. I like that progression there. Well done to Dagon Von Lovecraft for that. It's a smart move. If that is the case, I might be totally over-analyzing it or mistreating it, but either way, that's my understanding of it. Feardemic, you know, with the different stories that were, as I've mentioned, you know, talking about like relationship issues like drug abuse, death in our existence, trying to finally turn the page on and find a new chapter, you know, but not before looking at our behavior and singing about it and you know, just trying to be here today and trying to be the best you can be. There's a lot of different themes that are explored within this album. I think for the most part they're done competently. I think that Dagon Von Lovecraft's vocals are fantastic for this as well, and not just. I enjoyed his clean vocals without the vocal fry as much as the shouting and kind of growly stuff he had in some tracks like Feardemic and stuff. He's got an incredibly versatile voice. He can not only do the single melodies and keep a listener entranced, but can also do vocal harmonies and make really beautiful chord-like tones with his voice. And it's just a wonderful bit of classiness and sophistication, I suppose, and within an album that is brutal and vicious at times. I think that it was also nice that we managed to incorporate sort of vocal styles from like punk and new metal and rock and kind of like even some like grungish and acoustic rock, alt rock kind of stuff there. Again, a great vocal technique, comfortable within our range, expressed ourselves really well, showed an appropriate level of intensity for a lot of the things we were discussing there. It was a believable vocal performance and they ought to be proud of themselves. The structure of each of these tracks, it varied. There was a lot of change. It wasn't just verse, bridge, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus. There was some instrumental sections, some interludes, some sampled parts like Feardemic. The start to the album with Feardemic was phenomenal with the different like bits of people sampling and the vocal modulation there as a call and response and the guitars on the side and everything like that. I'm really impressed with the way that they did sound design there, because that is sound design. It's more than just, that's not necessarily writing a song, that's creating a mood and ambience to get the listener into a position where they can appreciate and accept the album for what it is. And I think even though 5 minutes 40 is, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot for someone listening to music for the first time. Not for me, because I've done like 1,000 of these, but for your average listener, especially with the industry at the moment, moving towards 2 to 4 minute tracks, yeah, it's a lot, but I think that the music is more than worth it. I think Dagon Von Lovecraft was aware that maybe the time would be potentially an issue, which is why they made the intro so interested and they encouraged you to get involved. I think there's also the reality that maybe Dagon Von Lovecraft just wanted to make the music that they wanted to make, and that's totally dope as well. That's honestly the most important thing. I've just been doing this long enough that has ruined me. The instrumental performances from like guitar, bass, drums, the brass and sort of string sections in Feardemic, that was stunning, dude. That was stunning. I'm so used to hearing piano in a lot of these, and that was an instrument that I didn't really hear much in this. I feel like the only way you could have maybe improved this is having some piano, but then it can also sound kind of cheesy if you add the keys in, you know what I mean? It can kind of sound like you're making a ballad and maybe you don't want to do ballads, and that's totally fine. It's an easy way to disassociate yourself from other types of music within your genre by lacking in an instrument that maybe some people take for granted. I think that's a smart move. Also, if you're not sure how to voice pianos within an arrangement, it's probably best to not do that so that you don't look like you're just slamming them for the sake of it. So that's great. I think it would have changed a lot of the songs, not for the better or worse, but just made them different. So I think that, you know, the choices we made in regards to not only the instrumental choices, but also the chord changes and progressions and rhythms we chose here, the different phrases, the odd amounts of bars that we had occasionally, just to be able to sort of keep things sounding interesting. The thorough exploration of our abilities as like rhythm and lead guitarists as well as drummers and bassists and all that. It was definitely an organic sort of live performance there, live in the studio. It sounds like everybody was in the same room. I'm really happy with the quality of the performance. It sounded very competent and confident, and there was a chemistry within the band members involved. The production, recording, mixing, and mastering was absolutely sensational there. You know, there may have been parts where I sort of like noticed this, like sound a little bit quiet or something like that, but it's also incredibly difficult to get songs sounding appropriate to the way you're writing them for different ones, whilst also keeping the mixing similar to the same. So you have to make different decisions with like the mixing and master, especially the mastering processes. Like, you know, with Feardemic, for example, where you had like the really tight distorted guitars, because you need metal guitars to be tight. You don't necessarily want to approach the acoustic production in the same way. So you've got to mend them differently. Because of that, you get different combinations of stuff. And I think, again, for the most part, we handled the EQing and stereo effects and processing and all that kind of stuff really well. It was nice and wide in the stereo field. The guitars were double tracked, which I appreciate, and the kick sidechained the bass really well. The limiting compression was great. It was nice and loud without being overbearing and without pumping, and I think that we are onto a good thing with Feardemic. So I wish Dagon Von Lovecraft the best of luck in future in their musical endeavors. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching this review of Feardemic by Dagon Von Lovecraft. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spider hands out.